Okay, JJK 255. So we got the full translations and everything out now. We're past the leaks. The official dialogue is out. So I want to start with saying, first of all, moment of silence for my man Miguel. And that's not because he got off screen in this chapter. That's because he did his thing. He carried this chapter, I think, with the action and the dialogue. So shout out to you, Quan, because you said Miguel wasn't going to do anything. And to me, Miguel did something. This was a very exciting chapter for me from start to finish. We got a lot of, like backstory. We got, I want to say new character, but he's been there, Laru, just he wasn't very important before. Similar to like Miguel, they were supporters of Ghetto and they've made an appearance in the battlefield and a lot of action this chapter. So just what's your takeaway when you read this chapter?
I would say and it was funny, right? Because I made a joke last episode where I was like, Gay don't want to be canceled, so he got to give the
Oh,
black man some shine. And when I
yeah.
tell you he gave him some shine, he definitely did. Even the dialogue, the jokes about
Yeah.
Gojo making fun of him because of his race, because Gojo was like, yeah, his skeletal structure, his athleticism is just so different. He's talking about, in terms of movement, this guy is second to none to a degree, right? So I appreciated, I guess, the uniqueness in writing when it came to Miguel, made him kind of stand out to a degree, especially given his robust attitude and character. And it was impressive between him and LaRue, how they kind of tag team to kind of, started, putting the pressure on Sukuna. And more importantly, you started to see, the gang come back, my favorite character, Maki come back, cut off an arm, Chozo,
Yeah.
Yuji, right? It was really good to see.
A lot of people, but not Yuta yet, which is pretty interesting. Not because I think Yuta's dead, but because I think he's coming back to play some pivotal role. He has something crazy up his sleeve. So that's kind of what I noticed. I'm like, okay, no Yuta though. But yeah, Miguel was impressive. Even his, I forgot the name of his move, but it like just allows him to adjust to like rhythm, right? It's going to become
Yeah,
super hard to hit him. You know what I'm saying? It kind of amplifies him, gives him a boost while kind of deteriorating you, which is kind of why he was able to resist so much from Gojo, even though I don't think Gojo was trying to kill him, but you saw the movements, in the fight with Gojo. So I thought that was a very useful technique. LaRue had a little bit of an interesting technique with the,
hmm
the giant hand, and he can take like minimal damage to inflict so much damage. But most importantly, I thought they bought time or as much time as they could for some of the other team to get back into the action. But like you said, that dialogue, especially between Miguel and Gojo, you got the running joke on the internet right now, like, yo, am I black because I'm Miguel or am I Miguel because I'm black? But he literally said something similar though. He was like, "Yo, like this is not because I'm black. It's because I'm just me." You know what I'm saying? Like in the words of the internet, I'm him. That's what Miguel was saying. So I did really like the chapter, and yes, I do hear a lot of people's gripes saying it's kind of repetitive. It's just people
hmm
stepping up to the plate to fight Sukuna for Sukuna to kind of look like he's waning a little bit, struggling. Then at the end of the chapter to kind of come out and be like, okay, but I'm still on top of this battle. And yes, this chapter did give us that. But I just think if this is how you're gonna like reintroduce a character that's been minimalistic to the story in a whole, like this is how you do it. I think Gege nailed it with Miguel this
yeah,
chapter.
yeah, for sure. And going back to, and then finally giving us an explanation to his curse technique. That was pretty good. And LaCrue's curse technique was, I would say, a reminiscence of Ranta Zenin with the eyes,
Mm-hmm.
where Maki ended up massacring the Zenin clan, and he kind of had a similar ability.
Yeah, yeah.
So that kind of reminded me of that. I feel the sentiment of what most people feel when they're talking about the repetitiveness, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have Sukuna just going through the gauntlet, only for him to kind of get, I wouldn't say a power up, but more so kind of get the edge. He landed another Black Flash on LaRue to end this chapter. And it's kind of like, okay, where is this going, right? Especially when we're getting these weekly chapters. It's not like we're getting these chapters on a monthly basis and we can scour through 50 pages.
I could just be being I could just be me being optimistic or hopeful, but something about this chapter felt a little bit different. Like we turned a bit of a curve here, right? Like we got past a bit of a hurdle because yes, at the end, Sukuna's back on top. He landed Black Flash, and they're saying, okay, Gojo was able to regain his RCT when he landed Black Flash. The King of Curses, I'm assuming, is going to regain his RCT as well, heal himself up, right? Which is going to put everyone in a terrible state. But I just feel like something huge is about to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It
For
just
sure.
feels like the momentum is building. Like, yes, like, because we can't afford for Sukuna to just keep becoming way stronger again, right? Something has to be about to happen. And I could just, like I said, maybe it's the optimism, but I feel like we're on the cusp of something major happening that's really going to decide the outcome of this battle. Maybe not end the battle, but really decide the outcome of the battle. I feel like that's coming in the next chapter or two, something that's going to be a huge takeaway. That's unless we cut back to the Hakari fight. If that happens, then that's off the table. But if we stay on this fight, then it just feels like something's coming. And it might be the return of Yuta, because like I said, to see people coming back out the woodworks, but like, where's Yuta? It just feels like, I don't know what it is he has up his sleeve, but maybe he's still with Wee Wee, right? Wee Wee was saved. So maybe now we get more insight into what Wee Wee's actually doing with the bodies that he's transporting, right? Even though we had a sense or we have a guess, but it feels like some big reveals are coming that's probably going to have the internet browsers kind of loading a little bit slow. Let me ask you this. Do you think the merger is still going to happen?
Yeah, I think the merge is still going to happen. Something to that magnitude being brought up and not happening doesn't make sense
Right.
for the story. So
Right.
I truly believe the merger is going to happen. I just don't believe is going to happen in the way we think it's going to happen,
Mhm.
nor I would say the visualization that we got from Kenjaku in terms of he wonders what shape it will take. I don't think it's going to look like that massive monster, right? It may, be something much smaller, humanoid, at least to a
Yeah.
degree. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen as well. But now I'm starting to question because Sukuna, right? He just doesn't seem like the type. Let's say he's going out and he's about to lose. It doesn't seem like he's gonna be like, all right, I'm losing, but I'm gonna activate the merger. So yeah, I got to deal with that, right? He's a very prideful guy. He wants to fight the merger and take down the merger, right? So it's just I'm trying to understand in what capacity it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's got to be prior to them defeating Sukuna, right? But will he feel so desperate that he has to do it, or will he do it because for his own benefit? Because I want to see, I want to take this thing on. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
in his weakened state right now, do you think he will take that risk?
no, I don't think he will just activate the merger. But then again, we don't know when it comes to
Mm,
Sukuna. I agree with you. I do think Sukuna just wants to have fun. I do think he wants to exert and find a challenge, through combat. But who knows? Because then you have that rule that essentially most of the good guys have to be eliminated in order for the merger to essentially exist. But the rule
mm,
can change depending on who has the most points and whatnot. So we'll have to see. I assume a rule will change that
mhm.
will kind of change the trajectory of how the merger is made.
Okay, okay, got you there. And then I guess last thing for before 256 comes out, right? So LaRue got hit with the Black Flash. You think he's dead?
No, I think he's badly damaged though. He might be
That
out of commission for
okay.
sure, but I don't think he died from that.
How strong, if you could rate it in level of number of fingers, do you think Sukuna becomes after hitting that second Black Flash? Because I know they were I think
Ah,
they were estimating he's probably around 15 fingers right now.
I don't know. I think after that Black Flash, I think he might probably be like 16, maybe 17 fingers, but I think the issue is what he gets in return of
That arm.
right. Do he get reverse curse technique or do he get his domain expansion back?
Mm,
That's the question we really have to find out. And we
that's a
need
good
answer.
one. Because when you put it like that, I don't think it's gonna be both. Because if it's both, that's OP, right? But
Yeah,
if
that's too crazy.
but if he gets one back, and which one do you like? If I know he doesn't have the opportunity, but if he had the opportunity to choose, which one do you think that he would choose to get back?
That's a see. If he had to choose, I think he would probably go with reverse curse technique to kind of, I would say, prolong the battle as long
Mhm.
as possible. I feel like I don't know, but I do think he's gonna ultimately probably go with the domain expansion. I
Yeah,
think
yo,
ultimately
because that
he's gonna go
domain
with
could
domain
cause so
expansion.
much hell. Yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately he's gonna go with his domain expansion.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I really like this chapter. I really enjoyed this chapter. I would definitely love to hear what the supporters got to say. Did you enjoy this chapter? Or did it feel like much of the same? After Sukuna hit that Black Flash, what do you think is coming back? Are we going to see a domain expansion, or are we going to see an RCT in 256? Make sure you jump in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bronin Showdown, much more videos to come.